What do you do? Have you ever gotten this question before? How do you usually answer it? There are many different ways that you can answer this question depending on the situation. Stay to the end where I'll give you an example of how I'd answer the question, what do you do, if it was asked to me. Are you guys ready to answer the question, what do you do? If so, then let's get into it. Today, let's talk about how you can go about talking about yourself. You will get lots of questions like this when you meet new people. You don't want to be caught off guard, and giving people a short and interesting answer about yourself is a great way for you to impress people. You might also make some new friends. So first, let's talk about the phrase, what do you do? What does this phrase really mean? Usually when you are getting asked this question, people want to know what is your job or what it is that you do to make money. Most of the times, especially in the US, we don't really ask people directly, what's your job? So you're gonna hear, what do you do often? And so you should be prepared to answer this question. So for example, when you hear, what do you do? You can think of a few things. Number one is, what do you do for work? You can also think of, are you a student or are you retired? So maybe you did work, but now you're just taking a break. You just want to think about giving an example of how you talk about yourself. Okay, and so let's talk about some examples of how you can go about talking about yourself, and we'll do this in two ways. Okay, so first let's talk about some of the ways that you can go about talking about what you actually do for work. That we're going to talk about today is, I work in plus your field of work. For example, you can say something like, I work in education, or I work in tech. Next, let's try the phrase, I work for plus a company or a person. With this type of phrase, you can do something such as, I work for Apple, or I work for so-and-so. And here, so-and-so is going to be the name of your employer. The next way you can do is, I work at plus a place or a shop. For example, I work at a restaurant. So next let's try a shorter phrase, and this one you can do is, I'm plus your job title. For example, I'm a teacher, or I'm a YouTuber. Also say, I work as plus your job title. With this phrase, you can make a small change from before and say, I work as a teacher. I work as a mechanic. Okay, so next, let's talk about some phrases you can use to talk about yourself if you're not working or if you have retired. So these phrases can be a little similar to before, but now of course we're going to be using the past tense. For example, I worked in plus your field of work. For example, here we can say, I worked in IT, or I worked in the arts. Next, how about we try, I worked for plus a company or a person. For example, we can use here, I worked for Google, or I work for the Japan Board of Education. Next, let's move on to the phrase, I worked at plus a place or a shop. For example, I worked at a library, or I worked at a sandwich shop. Let's try, I'm plus job title. So this is similar from the phrase before when you were working, but we're just going to use it in a different way. For example, I'm in between jobs, or I'm looking right now. And we can also try, I worked as plus your job title. So here, for example, we can use, I worked as an accountant, or I worked as a consultant. Okay, next, let's talk about some things that you can think about. Okay, so here are some things that you can think about, and one of the first things is, keep it short, keep it simple. Just let people know what you do. Make it open and honest. The main thing that we're going for here is, you want people to get engaged with you, and you want them to want to know more about you. This can also be a way for you to open up into bigger conversations. Maybe you will have some things in common, or you will get into more details if the conversation ends up going further. Okay, and so like I told you guys earlier, if you have made it this far, this is how I would answer the question, what do you do? an English teacher who teaches privately in the countryside of Japan, and now I also teach English lessons on YouTube as well. How about you guys write down how you would answer this question down below in the comments and practice it. So the next time you get the question, what do you do? You'll be more than prepared. I hope this video helps you today. If it does, how about sharing this video with someone else that you think it will benefit? And if you like this video, how about checking out this one right here? Thank you so much for watching. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. See you.